Welcome to Event Domination, where we go live every single Thursday, where I share everything I've learned, all the mistakes, all the successes, all the trials and tribulations I've gone through scaling my conference, whether it's the big conference, the workshops we do, whatever it is. So in this video today, I'm going to be sharing how you can stop guessing with your event, because guessing is the worst thing you can possibly do when it comes to actually building an event that sells, an event that's going to fill up, an event that's going to get everybody excited. Because this is what I found. A lot of people, they have an idea for an event, a conference, a workshop. They have an idea. And they're like, oh, well, it would be so cool if we did this. And then they start planning it without ever doing any of the foundational building that you need to make sure the event is a success. So today I'm going to be breaking down exactly the steps you have to take before you even launch your conference, before you launch your summit, before you launch your workshop, to make sure people are actually showing up in the seats. Because that's the number one stress for anybody who runs events. It's the fact that, hey, like, I hope everybody shows up. Actually, I was just on a call with somebody talking about that very subject. So when it comes to building out an event that actually sells, we have to think of what the market's looking for, and we have to do a lot of research. Because here's the thing, most events, I would say far more than 90% of events, they struggle. And that's why they never grow. You know, with my conference, we did 1,000 people, then we hit 2,500. We've scaled it very, very quickly. And the reason is because we built something that people wanted. We made decisions not based on thought or ideas, but on actual data. So what I want you to do, so let's say right now you are thinking of running an event. You have an idea for something. Oh, it would be amazing to have this conference. The very first thing I want you to do is we're going to create an avatar. You have to think to yourself, okay, well, if I'm running this event, what type of person do I want to show up? Oh, avatar. There we go. What type of person do you want to show up to your event? Because let's take my industry. For example, I run a real estate event, a business event, but a real estate event. There's so many different ways you can structure that real estate event. Let me walk you through a couple examples and then you'll see what I mean. Okay. The first option I have is I could be looking for beginners. Like people who are brand new to investing in real estate, who have, maybe got one deal under their belt, brand new people. Okay. Or I could go the other way and go after, let's call it the big hitters. So the large companies, family offices, these commercial private equity firms. I could also build an event for them. Or I could be selling people the opportunity about real estate. So maybe this is somebody working in different industries, and now I'm going to use my conference or summit or workshop to expose them to the world of real estate that they didn't even know before. These are just 3 examples. Let me try and make this readable. There we go. It worked. So you can see how I have an idea for a real estate event, but now there's so many different types of people that I would be looking to draw, or different types of avatars I could use to help create that event. Now, the type of person you're going for is going to have a huge impact on the type of event you build. For example, if you're going after total beginners, you're going to want to have your content structured in a way that's conducive to easy learning, right? Because it's all newer people. You want to have lots of support. If you got big hitters, well, guess what? Like, everybody wants to rock and roll. They've got very specific things they're looking for. Your speaker lineup is going to be very different. How you deliver the content is going to be very, very different than how you would deliver the content to a beginner, right? But with the big hitters, they're going to want to see lots of numbers. They're going to want to see like, but a beginner, you show them a whole like graph and spreadsheets, they're gone. Their brain's gone, right? You have to focus on simple subjects. And with the opportunity, you want to sell the transition from working 9 to 5 to now working in real estate, right? So very, very different types of events we can build based on the avatar. But what most people do when they have a great idea for a conference or a workshop or whatnot, a summit, what they do is, I want to run this event, and they just start building it without ever thinking of the people that they have to get in the seats. Now, the most important part about the event is getting people to the event. So this is why we really have to understand who we are talking to. Who are we trying to sell to for tickets? Like, who do we want there, right? So once we have a rough idea on, okay, well, maybe we work with an event for authors. Is it brand new authors? Is it a conference for the top best-selling authors already? Is it for just science fiction authors? Is it for bodice ripper romance authors? You got to figure that out first. Okay, so we have our avatar. We know, generally speaking, who we're looking to have at the event. Now we have to figure out what's actually important to those people. Because I see it all the time. People will put content and design an event that the audience doesn't care about. So this is why we really have to understand who we want bums in seats at the conference. Because if we don't understand it, everything's going to just it's not going to be a hit. Okay. So now, once we figure out the avatar, we're going to collect some data. I'm a huge proponent of using audience survey data to collect information about what the audience is actually looking for. Because I'll let you in on a little bit of a secret when it comes to an event. Instead of just guessing or thinking about what might work for you for your event, just ask the market what it's looking for and build exactly what the market's looking for. That is the best, easiest, surefire way to get a lot of people showing up at your event, right? If you just listen to the market, what people are craving, and you build that, it makes it 100 times easier than trying to fit your vision of the event and trying to force that into the marketplace, because that's where it gets really messy and you're not going to get a lot of traction. So let's go get some data from the market first. So we kind of know generally who we're going after. Now we got to ask those people. So we want to find out, what are their number one pain points? Because guess what? For my audience, number one pain point is raising money. How do I raise more money for my real estate deals? Okay, great. Well, guess what? A lot of the hooks, a lot of the sessions, a lot of the benefits, the reason you want to go is going to be centered around that pain point. If I'm an author and I'm trying to get my first book published, well, maybe I have this manuscript I've been slogging around to all these different agents. Nobody's picked it up. That's my pain point. So guess what? If most of the market is looking for that type of help, guess what? Your conference is now a conference centered around how to get people published, right? Because that's what the market's craving. You'll also want to figure out the goals. So what are they looking to accomplish? And then you're going to ask some other questions. So I like to ask, hey, give me the name of a session that you want to hear at the event. So session name. Now, I don't use this as a drop down. I actually get people to type it out because that's where the gold is. And then we have staff that sifts through all that and compiles it and all that. Because if I'm asking the marketplace to tell me the name of a session or a talk that they're looking for, and 60, 70% of people are saying generally the same thing, that's a very strong indicator that I should be talking about that at my event. So the way we plan out our sessions is we actually just ask the audience what they're looking for. They give us the names of these sessions, and most of the time, there's a clear winner that emerges. That it may not all be using the same words, but it's the theme, the topic is the same. It's a clear-cut winner. It's head and shoulders above the other ones. Great. Well, that's obviously resonating. We are 100% doing that. And then we fill in the other winners to fill out the roster. But again, we are delivering to the market what the market's seeking. Perfect. So session names. You're also going to want purchase info. So this is where you're asking the audience about their purchase habits. Why would you want to do that? Well, you're looking for that. If you're doing sponsorship for your event, you want to have data on your audience that a sponsor would be interested in. So purchase info. Okay. Like you want to make sure that you have enough stuff that you can take to a sponsor and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Sponsor, this is exactly who's in my audience. There seems to be some crossover over who you're looking for. Let's have a conversation about you getting involved in my event. So depending on what you're doing, maybe you're running a tech event for tech companies. Well, you want to know what kind of software stacks, tech stacks that they're using right now. You probably want to know how many employees they have. You probably want to know the titles and names of the people that generally go to events like this. Are they decision makers? Are they expert? Are they experts that then make recommendations to the decision makers? You want to understand. You want to know, well, how much funding they have, what series of funding they're in. You want to understand what's going on in your audience, because now you can start tailoring your event, the content and the draw, the pull of the event to exactly what people are needing and looking for. Now, on the other side, you can now use this data to more effectively communicate and market to your audience. So again, going to, let's just use the tech example. Let's say it's a bunch of tech founders, right? That's your avatar. And those tech founders, maybe number one, they're looking to exit. So maybe it's tech founders who have scaled their companies. It's a summit on that topic. And now they're looking to exit. And so maybe they've given you the names of sessions. Oh, well, how to find buyers for my tech company, how to negotiate a successful sale, how to sell my company without having to stay in for the next couple of years. These could be session topics, but also you're going to find out in the buying habits. Well, how many staff do they have? All this. So what you can do then is now in your marketing, you're going to say, hey, are you a tech founder who scaled your company to X amount that fits your avatar? Well, this is what we can do. Hey, come out to this event. We're going to show you this and this and this, and it's going to resonate with the avatar you're looking for. Plus, with the session names and the types of speakers you're going to be attracting, you're going to make sure they align with what the audience is seeking, right? So let me take you to the next. So we have the avatar, then we collect a lot of data. Once we collect the data, now we have to bring in speakers. So let me talk to you about speakers and how not to guess with speakers. Because speakers can make or break your event. And that's something with my event we're always looking to improve with our speakers on stage. Always looking to improve. Because what happens is the market is going to be interested in certain types of speakers. I was just on a coaching call with an event where they have trouble keeping people in the room at their event for the full day. Like people would show up and then people would leave after lunch. Well, what's going on with the speakers, with the content that's not having them stick? That's what we're looking for. So now when we're looking to identify speakers, we have all the different pain points of our audience right here. Perfect. We know the goals. So we have a whole system that we follow, a whole checkbox system to select speakers that we know are going to hit. Because I know of an example event where they selected the wrong speaker. A very successful person. You would think the person looked good on paper, but when the speaker was announced, nobody really knew who it was, and it kind of fizzled. He didn't have the pull and the sizzle, we call it. Like a speaker has to have sizzle, and they didn't have it, and it really impacted how that event sold. So with the speakers, we want to identify a speaker that can specifically speak to the main pain points of the audience. So for example, maybe Maybe the pain point, we'll just use a real estate example. Maybe it's a conference for real estate agents, right? Maybe number one pain point is how to get listings, right? With real estate agents, if you don't list, you die. So how do you get listings? And then maybe another pain point would be how to get into luxury listings because the commissions are better. You would then go out as the person wrangling the speakers. You would want to make sure that your speakers are specific experts and can speak to how to get listings and how to get into luxury listings. So you may have somebody focus on the marketing side, the how to market to homeowners, how to market and get your and build your neighborhood and all of that type of stuff. And then you would also have another speaker who would speak about elevating your brand to now target, instead of selling $500,000 townhomes, well, why don't we just, for the same time and effort it takes to get one of those listings, why don't we just list a $5 million home? You know, the commission is a lot more, so it makes a lot more sense. That would be your speaker core. Now, we have different tiers of speakers. So we have A, B, and C tier speakers. An A tier speaker, an A speaker is somebody who has celebrity. Now, you don't have to get Tom Cruise, but you need somebody who is recognizable. Because with your event, especially if you're a new event, and this is what I went through the first year I launched mine, you have the idea, you sell it, but everybody doubts you. They're like, oh, is this actually going to happen? You have a lot of doubt. So by having an instantly recognizable person, number one, is going to give your event credibility. Number two, for a cold audience who has no idea who you are, it's going to make it easier for them to buy a ticket. Because now they're like, oh, well, I see this person who I recognize, who's obviously an expert in the space. I see them. I want to go to this event. Because the event doesn't have brand yet, right? So you need an A tier or multiple A tier speakers. Now, like with my event, we have multiple. Now you have a B tier speaker. These are your experts. These are your workhorses. The person who's been in the industry forever, they know their stuff. They have a very long track record, by and large, a true expert. And they're going to do your they're going to be your workhorses in terms of delivering the content. Now, will your B tier speakers sell tickets for you? No. Will your A tier speaker? Yes. Right? Because people want to see that celebrity, that person. The B tier speaker, they're an expert, but they just haven't elevated to their brand to the point where they are seen as that celebrity, instantly recognizable. All right, celebrity, like just you look at Billy Mays. Everybody recognizes Billy Mays from all the infomercials, right? Instantly recognizable. But your B tier speakers, you need them. They're going to be your workhorses, and they're going to be delivering a lot of the content. The C speakers, these are the people who apply and will beg you to get on stage. You don't touch them with a 10-foot pole because they're going to get on stage and just bomb. So every year what we do is we do speaker surveys. We want to find out what people think so we can always prune and tweak. So you've got your avatar. You've got your data. You've figured out your speakers. Now it's just a fact of figuring out different ticket tiers, figuring out your pricing, figuring out your marketing strategy with paid ads. But this is the foundational stuff that you need to do first and foremost before you even sell a ticket, before you get a venue, anything. You need to understand your audience, and this is how you stop guessing with your event and you start building events that will hit. Because events are risky, right? They're so risky. You put so much time, energy, love, sweat, tears into them. You might as well build it so it's going to work rather than hope and guess, right? So if you're just starting out, or even if you've been running an event but it's not scaling as much as you want, make sure you get your avatar, make sure you do the data, make sure you get your speakers, and that's just the start. Then there's the other 99% of stuff you got to do. So if you're running a workshop, if you're running a summit, a conference, and you want to scale, especially if you want to scale over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people, go to theconferenceaccelerator.com, theconferenceaccelerator.com. We work with events in all sorts of different industries and help them scale up. So check that out. Book a call with our team. We can definitely help you with that. But yeah, don't guess. Do this. You won't go wrong. All right. So I'll see you guys next week.